Hey everyone, welcome to today's edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron. Appreciate you joining us on a Tuesday. I know I told everyone it was going to be on Monday, but look, it's raining in Southern California. We got to get these high school baseball games in when we can. I apologize, 100% on me. At the same time, we gave it another 24 hours for things to kind of kick in as more moves have been made. But look, there's a lot going on in the NFL, and this is what makes the NFL great, right? It's only a 17-week season, yet we seem to talk about it at least 350 days out of the year, which is pretty amazing that this sport has mastered, had basically keep your full attention, and they own the sports calendar the entire year. At the same time, I want you to like and subscribe to the show right now. I tell you this all the time. As Josh said right before we went on, man, there are a lot of people already on this feed. Well, if you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe right now. That'd be a really good sign. We're all in a bad mood, okay? We're all in a bad mood because we see you here, but at the same time, the numbers don't seem to match up. Kind of a weird scale that we know that more people here, they're liking and subscribing. We ask you to do two things. How much are you paying for this show? You aren't paying anything for this show. Either you do what you say or we're going to start stretching. We're going to start tying our shoes and we're going to start breaking necks and catching checks. And when one of us knocks on your door, you're going to go, holy cow, those guys aren't liars. We aren't. So we encourage you guys to be part of the show. Hate threatening the audience, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But a lot going on. And guys, here's the deal, man. Josh, you know, you said it before. Mario, you said it before. This Charger team, they're going to be active. And, man, when things started rolling yesterday like crazy and everyone's getting excited around the NFL and it's 32 days of Christmas for everybody, and you're going, man, these Chargers, they are playing chess. And that's what this team is doing, man. Don't worry about Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz. These guys are playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. Josh, is this team playing chess?
I think they're playing like chicken foot. Do you know that game? Where it's very basic. That's the game we're playing. I think.
Go fish.
Yeah, we're playing Go Fish. We're playing Go Fish. Let me ask you guys a question because we obviously don't know what's going in Joe Ortiz's head. Are these calculated moves? I'm sure they are, but from the outside looking in, you're like, what the hell? Like J.K. Scott, Bradley Bozeman, what are we doing?
It's kind of hard to sit here and kind of be positive about the whole thing, right? Of what's going on with the Chargers. And I kind of fully expected this show too, with the amount of money they had, kind of go around to get in here and go, wow, look at this revamped roster, this revamped team, similar how it'd be if you're a New England Patriots podcast right now, or a Chicago Bear podcast right now. But instead, Dave, I'm going, we left a lot out there. We fell short a lot, especially with a player like DK Metcalf, where they're like, oh, there was whispers that they secretly tried to get something done last offseason. I thought, damn, we're the guy that just missed the girl out before the boyfriend, and they just broke up, and we're just chilling right there, and we're like, oh, this is gonna be easy, fellas. And then someone comes right in and just swoops her. That's just what happened to the Bolts, man. And now I'm sitting here with you know what in the hand, going, it's a tough one.
Yeah, okay. So here's the deal. I'm looking at people saying the money's not gone. Well, this is what I don't understand. Okay, if you aren't going to spend the money, when are you going to spend the money? You can say the money's not gone, but what are you waiting for? I don't understand what happened here with the Chargers. We all knew there were major holes. I don't understand when I'm looking at big time weapons that could help us out on the offensive line. Like, it doesn't seem too tough to go, this is what we're targeting. Everyone else is going after, you know, certain skilled players and the big name guys. There are a lot of guys who are very good at their job that, you know, you don't buy jerseys from. You could have fixed your interior offensive line yesterday, but you didn't. You kind of doubled down with, you know, not below being mediocre. And I tell you, the one that hurt me the most that I really wanted to see, well, there are a couple of them, and we'll talk about losing Ford really bothered me to the Rams, but I wanted them to get Jonathan Allen. And I tell you what, I think with the Minnesota Vikings, when they got him, that was like, man, that one stinks. And I know there aren't too many people out there when they have their wish list of stars in the NFL. That's not what I wanted. I wanted basically to keep up the pressure when we talk about how important it is through the defensive tackle position all of a sudden. And I'm like, man, you could grab a guy like Jonathan Allen and you're going, there's an upgrade right there to help this team. You don't have edge rushers. I mean, you got Khalil Mack back, but what are they doing? I can't even sit there and defend anything that's gone on so far.
The thing that bothered me probably, and I understand there's moves to be made that, you know, they're going to happen. They better happen. Drew Dahlman went to the Chicago Bears. That was the guy from the Falcons where you're saying, hey, this is a guy that can shore up the interior offensive line. You can dress this right now through free agency. And then you say, hey, they're going to draft somebody. Obviously, they're going to go through the draft for a lot of these positions. That's the one that kind of was like a kick in the nuts. Some of the other ones, man, I wasn't as upset as other people were. Like DK Metcalf. I don't think I'm paying DK Metcalf $30 million a year. I mean, I'm not paying him anything regardless, but I don't think he deserves 30. Yeah, and a second round pick. I don't like that. But it was funny to me how DK Metcalf goes, "Hey, I want a contending team. I want a team with a good quarterback, and I want to go to a warm weather city." They're like, great. We're just need the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't have a quarterback. They're third best team in their division, and it's probably gonna be freezing during football season. So good luck over there, DK.
We call the shots.
We don't care. Yeah, we call the shots. I'm the captain now. But Mario, that one didn't bother me as much. Devontae Adams was surprising. Him going to the Rams, I was just sold, I guess. I just looked at Twitter too much of everybody saying he was the favorite to go to the Chargers.
I think I was kind of the opposite right there, where I thought DK was an absolute lock for LA. I think that one made the most sense to me. I think Devontae was just really ring chasing and thought, look, Rams give me a better shot than the Chargers, which that is true. Look at the division, look at the path to the Super Bowl, look how close they came to the Eagles this past season. That does make sense. DK, it's also just funny to me where you go to a team, one, it's cold, which he didn't want, and two, they literally don't have a quarterback at the current moment. There's no quarterback on roster. They have 0 signed. And what, you want to go deal with Aaron Rodgers? Okay, have fun. We're going to run it back with Russell Wilson. Have fun. You, Russell, and George Pickens all in a room. I'm sure all egos will be put aside and everyone will come together as a family. It's just not going to happen. The move that I hated the most that they didn't do, guys, was losing Ford. He's coming off his best year. We don't have the talent to fill his position. We had exclusive rights to him until 9 a.m. Pacific time on Monday, and then we don't get it done. And then he goes across the way to the Rams. Doesn't even have to move. And we have them. It wasn't a situation where we just don't have the money and we just have to let him go. No, Dave, we had the money, and we still said goodbye. And it's, what are we doing? This is the trenches that we're talking about. What we worry about the most. And we just didn't get it done. Insane to me.
Again, and it wasn't like he went out the door and then they signed Jonathan Allen. That's why my point is, I don't understand what happened there. Look, there are guys who run the Chargers that are supposed to be a lot smarter than us. I'm not sitting there saying that if Joe Ortiz said, "Hey guys," and what did he say?
That's not saying a lot.
Okay,
smarter than us. Yeah, come on.
But my point, I would never say that before in the past about this organization. Like, we all sat there and go, "What the hell?" We all said we're going to give them basically a long leash to figure out what they're going to do. And look, when you're 11-6 in your first year with a bunch of scrubs on that roster and they pulled out a miracle, you're going, okay, keep doing what you're doing. It's just very frustrating. And, I'm looking right here who are basically Chargers apologists. Like, this is not the show for you right now. If you think everything the Chargers do, no matter what, is the right decision, you can't question anything, this isn't the show. We aren't going to sit there and kiss your ass and say the Chargers are fantastic. Guess what? There's still no trophy room in that facility. There's nothing there. And don't pull out that championship from the AFL when they beat the Patriots in like 1963. Nobody cares and nobody counts that. We're talking about Vince Lombardi trophies. So the same point, that's the goal of this show as far as fans. We want to see them win one. We want to see them win one soon and head in the right direction. So when I look at this Charger team and I'm watching everybody that's going crazy and spending money and getting players yesterday, and it was awesome. It was the old days when they didn't have the internet and it was Black Friday at the malls and there are fights and people are getting their Achilles tendon ripped out just to try to get that extra TV. That's what was going on in the NFL yesterday. It was a lot of fun to watch, and you're going, okay, when's it our turn? And it wasn't. And yet it was all set up for us to be a big buyer because we had the second most amount of money to spend out of everybody. We had the cool coach. We got an established quarterback. We're in the number 2 media market, and we got a great stadium. Why wouldn't you want to come play for the LA Chargers? And yet you're seeing guys go other places because we didn't use the phone. It's like we got caught not knowing that the time changed. Guess what? Everyone moved up their clocks now, and everyone's like, whoa. There was a time change this weekend? Why didn't the NFL tell us? Where were the Chargers yesterday? And as far as everyone going, hey, you guys don't know S. I'm reading you in the chat right here. Fine. Who else do you want us to go get right now? Who are we missing out that we aren't chasing? Because right now it looks like everyone else is doing what they need to do. And when Ortiz says, hey, look, this is the Charger roster that is the worst you're going to see in the 5 years that Jim has his contract. Okay, well, let's make a jump up because I saw the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I know what that roster looks like. I know what the Chiefs roster looks like. I know what the Lions roster looks like. tell me how this team right now is all of a sudden a Super Bowl contending team when you're willing to put the pieces together with the draft. How many draft picks do we have? I'm sorry, do we have 85 draft picks? Because I don't think we do. So don't sit there and tell me everything is going to be okay. Okay, stop rubbing my back in small circles and tell me everything's going to be okay, because it's not. That's not how I feel today. Today, I feel like everyone else went shopping except us.
And the Cowboys, right? Cowboys said, hey, we're going to stay home today.
But we're rich. They're broke now.
Yeah.
We have all the money in the world. Go ahead, stick it in a little change purse and go ahead and eat your Dentine gum. Grandma's not coming home tonight. Got bad news for you.
I don't even know where this is going.
All right.
This is the thing that bothers
me. I said to my therapist. Sorry.
Yeah. We're all on the same boat on this. The thing that bothers me is you have all the money to spend and you just don't do it. And then the apologists want to say, hey, we're going to build up through the draft. And like Dave said, do we have 85 draft picks? Like, dude, we only have a few draft picks. You can't address every issue through the draft if you're not going to spend the money in free agency. It doesn't make any sense to me. Get somebody. For Christ's sake, get somebody. We have Ladd McConkey and a bunch of guys. And don't tell me that Dallas Goedert is the answer to all of our problems. Who's the fifth option in the Eagles offense? People trying to make it seem like Dallas Goedert's Tony Gonzalez. Like, what am I missing here? Okay. If we have nobody to block for Justin Herbert, how are we going to get the ball out? All right. I love our tackles. We all love the tackles. We love Ladd McConkey. And that is it. That's where we draw the line. We have nobody else on this team to get the ball out. And you cannot tell me, Mario, that you're going to rely on rookies on the offensive and defensive side of the ball because we're going to have 800 of them, supposedly, that are going to make an impact this year. The math ain't mathin'. I don't get it. If you have the money to spend the money.
If I'm Herbert, I'm pretty pissed off. You know, I look at this. I look at this receiver class and I go, okay, this is who we could have gotten. Not saying they should have, but this is who we could have gotten that are all gone now. DK, Devontae, Chris Godwin. Okay, we let all of them go. All right, there's still some others out there. Maybe Amari Cooper, maybe Brandon Cooks, maybe bring back Keenan, who knows. But then on top of that, you let go of Joshua Palmer, who I know Joshua Palmer is not an exceptional receiver. He's got a lot of good traits, nothing that's amazing about him. But you let him go. You don't replace anything. And then I go, okay, well, at least I got protection. Okay, no, we don't have protection. We're not going out and signing any guards or centers yet. It's still young free agency, but still just saying. And then I see the Bears make a move for a center that's top center in there. And I go, okay. Then I see trades happen with the Rams, trades happening with the Chiefs. And I'm sitting there going, what's going on? Who's helping me out? He just had one of the most brutal games of his career, guys. And it feels like we're setting him up for even harder 2025 than we did in 2024. The schedule's going to get harder. The competition is going to get tougher. And we're not doing anything to help Herbert have a big year, to have an MVP year. If next year, guys, when we do our picks for who's going to win each award, I don't think there's going to be anyone in the betting space that's going to make a pitch for Justin Herbert, unless something drastically changes.
No. I mean, Justin Herbert hasn't won anything. He can't win a playoff game. You know, see people say Justin Herbert should ask for certain things. Look, Justin Herbert doesn't. I mean, you know what Justin Herbert is? Justin Herbert just doesn't do that. He's not that quarterback. At the same time, there's a fine line of being that quarterback where you're Aaron Rodgers to the extreme, or you're Justin Herbert to the nothing, and then you don't get what you want either way. So, I mean, there's a fine line of basically, I don't know if Justin Herbert goes to the organization. I just don't think he does. I just don't think that's his personality. Look, he's 27 years old, man. At some point, he has to realize this isn't how I want my legacy to be. And when you're a quarterback in this league and you're established, and he is established, you could say anything about him not winning. He's an established quarterback in this league, and he's one of the best in the league. But, man, his legacy is a guy that can't play in meaningful games and winning meaningful games. So that's not what you want. I can't imagine anyone who's a competitor wants that. If right now, if you're a Charger fan, be honest, we're happy they brought Khalil Mack, but that doesn't make you better. That makes you the same. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you a better team. It's the same exact situation you already had. I'm sorry, losing Josh Palmer is no big deal. The fact Josh Palmer not only found a team in the NFL, but to get the money he got, his agent should be investigated today to see if he has roofies on him. I don't know how he got that contract. That's the greatest agent in the world. That's insane what just happened. I don't know how the hell that just happened. But whatever, he's not our problem anymore. And I'm tired of doing these shows with my hands in there going, Josh Palmer's a disappointment. Okay. But man, this team needs so many holes filled, and now they need more now that Poona Ford's gone. I don't know. I will say this about Najee Harris because I know we're going to spend a lot of time on him. Dude, I told you 2.5 weeks ago I wanted him. I literally wanted him. I wanted to see him come here. I knew he had good hands. I knew at the same time he's going to get 1,000 yards. Yeah, is he Derrick Henry? No. Is he one of these? Is he Barkley? No. But he's one of those guys that at least is going to show up and be able to play week in and week out, and that's what he's been known for. Now, did the Steelers disappointed what they thought they were getting and what they got? Absolutely. The Steelers thought they were getting a premier running back, future Hall of Famer, whatever, old style Steelers running back. Look, man, this is what we needed. We needed someone that you can give the ball to. It's hard to find these guys. And Dobbins has a history of being hurt all the time. Gus Edwards, complete disappointment, one of the biggest busts in Chargers history. I'm fine with that pick. But that is not a difference of winning you a Super Bowl. I'm exactly in on what Ortiz said and what Harbaugh said a year ago. You're going to win from the inside out, and they didn't do the things to address the inside problems. That's why I don't understand what's going on.
Okay, so there's people arguing in the chat. I'm arguing with a couple people myself. Answer this question for me. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm trying to be honest here. If you have money to spend and you don't spend it and you can't get those players through the draft because you only have so many picks, what's the solution? Save money? How many years do you think we have with Justin Herbert? How many years do you think we have with guys like Khalil Mack? Maybe one more? I mean, you got to win while you have guys that are in their primes. Rashawn Slater. We have guys, Derwin James, that need to win now. If you have the money, maybe you overpay for a couple people. It's not like the Chargers have a recipe for success. I understand Joe Ortiz has had one successful year, I'd say. Going from 5 wins to making the playoffs is a success in my eyes. But if you have the money to spend, you got to spend at least a little bit because there's nobody left. I'm looking at the free agent list. Number 1 guy is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was the 5th option for the Bills. You got Stephon Diggs coming off an industry, Rasul Douglas, Cam Robinson, Taven Jenkins. There's just not that many guys out there where you can say they're going to make a huge impact that are left on the market. I don't get it. And when you talk about Najee Harris, I think it was a good pickup for barely getting any salary whatsoever for a guy that's had 4 consecutive 1,000-yard years and plays in every game. I'm all about it. But if you don't have anybody to block for him, Mario, I don't know what you do. Obviously, in the draft, you got to get at least 2 guys on the interior offensive line because there's not much out there.
So that's my word, Najee Harris. Like, he's an exceptional player, and the deal on it is amazing. 1 year for $5.25 million. It could be close to $9 million if he hits incentives. And he's never missed a game in his 4 years in the NFL. He's 5th in forced missed tackles, 8th in explosive runs, all seasons over 1,000 yards rushing. There's a lot of stuff to like about Najee Harris. But the thing that's scary about it is it's very hard to be that great of a running back when the interior line aren't very good. It's very hard to do that, right? And then who are the options left to pick up? There's a couple guys out there, but there's nothing that's eye-popping, I guess, if you will. Nothing that's really going to, I guess, change the direction of what this offense is going to be able to do. You can get Zeitler from the Lions, who's 35 years old, who's a good run blocker, but hell, if you go passing game, it's going to be a little tough for you. And that was a problem for the Chargers this past year. So is that really fixing a hole or just going, we're dealing with the same situation from the year before? That's what it feels like. Again, love the Najee pickup. I do think that was it made smart money-wise, but we drafted really well, Dave. I feel like just in the spot we're in, we're relying a lot on that. And in a draft where it's not insanely talented for what we need, it's going to be tough. Even the receivers that are very talented this year, I was talking to Brian about last night. He's like, yeah, they're all a lot of slot guys. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't help the Chargers the best. And then people are like, oh, well, Kenneth Grant, the chance of him being at 22 is, I keep hearing lower, and lower. So if we want him, guys, we're going to have to move up. And then that means we pass up on a tight end. And that hurts us more in the passing game. And then you go running back to 2nd round pick, which I'm all for. It's just a lot of things, Dave, that's, I don't know, doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, right now is, again, day 2. I'm not sitting there saying that you have to go crazy and overspend. And I'm seeing people say Joe doesn't overspend. Well, number 1, it's not Joe's money, okay? 2 is there's a ton of money that the Chargers have compared to every other team in the league outside of the Patriots. By the time they got ready to go for this day, they had the 2nd most amount of money to spend. look, you kind of made an agreement with a few people as far as making sure this thing works when you took that job as GM. One is you have an agreement with Jim, you have an agreement with Dean, you have an agreement with the fans that you're going to do what you can to put the best team possible out on the field. That is your job as a general manager, put the best team possible out on the field. And the Chargers didn't show the fan base that. Like, there's nothing that happened yesterday that said I'm going to go out and buy season tickets. There's nothing to go out and say I'm going to buy jerseys. By the way, as I'm reading the chats on the side here, Najee Harris does have decent hands. All right. I saw him play, obviously, at Alabama. So I'm winning a national championship at Ohio State with his hands and with his carries. He's durable, runs for 1,000 yards every single year. I'm not saying that he's an MVP. I'm not even saying he's a top 5 running back in the league. I'm saying at least the best ability is availability, and he'll give you that, which is the other guys don't. So move on from that one. That still is not the difference maker. It didn't matter who they brought in running back. They could have brought in Barkley from the Eagles. It wasn't going to make the difference you guys all think because they don't have the same protection around them that the Eagles have. It's not how it works. Not what the Lions have to help out Gibbs. It's just not. It's not the same thing. You guys tell me where you're at as far as, you know, and I'm talking to the people in the chat. Where do you feel comfortable right now? Look, you're getting the best you can and the last you can out of Khalil Mack. We're happy to have him back, but Josh said the name Derwin James a second ago. He might be the most vocal, important person on the Chargers roster. I just don't think Justin Herbert's that guy. If there's one guy that maybe could go in there and raise a stink would be Derwin James. But at the same time, Derwin James, they could just say, you know what? We don't want that either. Who knows what the Chargers would end up doing? I just don't understand how you went through an 11-6 season. You got embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs, and you aren't extremely active. I mean, you're on the good side of getting better towards a championship, not on the bad side. You know what I mean? You aren't light years away. You're steps away is what you should look at it as.
How do you look at the process of free agency? Because we're on day 2, right? Don't freak out. Day 2 is what everybody says. There's more to come. At what step do you start looking at? We didn't address this. I think,
let me say this real quick. Can I answer this real quick?
Go ahead.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Guess what? Hate to tell you this. Day 2 is the process of guys that weren't good enough to go day 1. Okay? Don't sell it any other way. That's just the way it is. You weren't good enough. You know who's out there now? Guess what? All the girls that went home with the other guys at 11 o'clock at night, we're getting all the girls when the bars closed and the bright lights came on. And you're like, oh my God, she's worse with the lights even brighter, but I don't want to go home alone. That's what we're getting right now. And what's it going to cost?
I think it's well said. I don't know why people are so optimistic. I don't get it. I'm not throwing Joe Ortiz aside by any means, but I'm thinking you have to absolutely nail the draft to save your ass with this process that he has.
I think there's still some guys you can get. Like, wouldn't hate an Amari Cooper signing. I wouldn't hate a Cook signing. Like, I know it's not sexy, but like it's some guys that can fill a spot and they're veteran, and at least you can rely on them in certain key situations. My approach with this is, look, I'm not saying the Chargers are gonna go going to win 2 games next year, but I'm saying is with the moves that they're making and the trajectory on the speed of this is going, is yes, they're probably going to draft well, and yes, they're probably going to kill it again, but just realize that in this upcoming season, keep the expectations low. It's not going to be, I wouldn't expect, guys, like I don't expect an AFC championship run. I wouldn't expect winning the AFC West. I wouldn't expect, a very tough battle all the way to the end for the Chiefs for the division. I wouldn't expect any of that. And I'm going to go into this season going, this team could get 10 wins. This team could get 8 wins. It's just going to be the bounce. Just going to matter which goes what way. And, we'll see. And also with these, young receivers, like everyone's saying, just draft a receiver. You can draft an extremely talented receiver. It's going to take them 2 to 3 years to develop. That happens plenty of times. And can Herbert, 1, wait long enough for that, Dave? And 2, is he good enough to win us enough games while these guys get better?
Now, look, time is running. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys look at when you look at the Chargers window of opportunity? Do you guys look at it for Justin Herbert, or do you look at it for Jim Harbaugh? I mean, do you think Jim Harbaugh, even though he signed a 5-year deal, that Jim Harbaugh is going to be here 10 years, 15 years? I mean, is this Jim Harbaugh's last job? Is this who's the most important person right now when you think about window of opportunity? Obviously, you always want to say it's the quarterback. I mean, if you can keep them both together for a long, long time, my deal is: are we trying to win one Super Bowl in the 5 years? Or are we sitting there trying to put together a hell of a run where they're either in the AFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl every single year?
Justin Herbert's the most important player or person in this scenario for me. Everybody else is expendable. You can get another head coach, even though I love Jim Harbaugh. You can get another GM, even though I like Joe Ortiz. But Justin Herberts aren't everywhere, right? Look at all these organizations who don't have any quarterback at all. We're lucky to have him on our team. We got to win for him. And I don't understand how you don't address the interior offensive line, at least one person through free agency or a receiver for him to throw the ball to, right? Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay, the big thing was they will never draft a receiver in the first round. It kind of feels like this way for Justin Herbert. Like we're going to have, Lad McConkey and who else? I mean, these people are driving me nuts with this day two stuff. Dave just nailed it. If they were great, they wouldn't be here day two. People are going to spend for them. And sometimes you just got to go in for certain guys that are difference makers, because when you look at the free agency list, Mario, there's none of those guys left, right? The one person that I think the Chargers maybe make a move for, I don't think they do, is Hendrickson, because I would love to have a guy like that on the team. I don't think the Chargers are going to go for that situation from what we've seen, but that's a guy I would still look at and say, hey, he's on the Bengals now. What if he became a Charger?
I'd be shocked. I'd literally be shocked if that happened, if they somehow got traded, especially with the direction that they've gone into the past couple of days. That'd blow my mind if they got traded. But
you almost have to, Mario. I mean, how do you? I mean,
you think you have to? I don't think you have to.
Who else is going to be on the other side of Khalil Mack over there?
I mean,
it's they're only asking for a second-round pick. It shows not only to the players who established and gave you everything they had a year ago, but it also shows the fan base and everyone else that, dude, the Chargers aren't a joke. I mean, that's one of the best players in the NFL that's available to you.
So I do think too on the other side that's fine. That's gonna work. I don't know if you have to get Trey. I think now you just go all attention towards the draft. Pick up whatever you want to pick up these next couple of days of what guys are remaining. And people, I know it's day 2 of free agency, but in case people didn't pick up on this, a lot of these deals, they say, oh, it starts Monday. And it just so happens that as soon as it's able to go, all these deals come rushing in. It's not like they just made those deals then. No, they've been making those freaking deals. So as soon as that happens, I think now it's just all energy is on how can we maximize the talent that we have right now in this draft. That's, I think, the direction they're going to go in. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We'll see what happens and see what they can do. And I believe in Joe. I believe in Jim. I still think they can get us a Super Bowl. I 100% believe that. But what I'm saying is that if you weren't a little underwhelmed of the past couple of days, then
you're part of the problem.
To tell you.
You're part of the problem.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to be completely negative. I just feel like, hey, these guys overplayed their ability even last year. You know what I mean? Like, how much more do you want to get from these guys? One, I mean, I don't see them getting much more out of the guys they have. I mean, they found a couple miracles in there, but at the same time, I think they can do well in the draft, but they aren't going to do well on 7 picks. They're, even if they all 7 hit, they're still rookies. I don't see it right now. I just don't see it. I think there are just too many holes out there.
It's not sustainable. You can't just say we're going to be great in free agency. It doesn't work that way. Look at the team that just won the Super Bowl. How did they get Saquon? Through free agency. How did they get A.J. Brown? Through a trade. You got to make moves for difference makers. The Chargers are a mediocre franchise at best. This is something the Chargers have done for their history. You got to be different. Joe Ortiz, I believe in him. I'm not throwing him away. But this is not a sustainable process. You can't just say we're going to nail the draft and get guys on day 2, 3, and 4. Guys on day 2, 3, and 4 aren't going to get you a Super Bowl win. We got tons of comments. Can we get through these? First one comes from AK 499. He says, look, I understand Charger fans. My heart goes out to you. I get it. It's frustrating, but everyone relax. We have plenty of time left. No worries. We are fine.
I would say we are fine.
Okay, what do you? I'd rather be great than fine. How's that?
I mean, yeah, I do get your point, because we're saying,
we were fine last year at 11-6. You know who's great? The Eagles. They're great.
Yeah, and also too, the people are also like telling us we're overreacting. Obviously, we're overreacting. It's free agency. It's March 11th, and we need freaking content. So, like, if we were sitting here going everything's vanilla, then it's just like, well, something's wrong with you guys.
Okay, appreciate it.
John G 199 says, "I feel lied to, fellas. How do you guys feel?"
Okay, it's not fair to say you feel lied to because they never said they were going to do that. We just talked about it, and everyone else talked about it as Charger fans. We all had our wish list, right? We all said, "Hey, this guy, that guy, this guy," but you never saw Joe Ortiz say that because
he did say that. He did say that during one of the games this year. It was on video where
he did say the roster was going to be the worst you've seen already, right?
Yeah. So we're going to make it significantly different change. Yet to be seen.
Yet to be seen.
I don't know. Mario just said it perfectly. I don't know how you don't feel underwhelmed at this point.
I do.
It's not the finished product, but you have to feel underwhelmed at this point. I don't know how you don't. Young West, $5 says, they said this was the worst roster we could have. Well, we just got worse. Who's catching the damn ball? Who's blocking for Herbert? This is BS.
Who's trying to get to the quarterback? Who's stopping the run on the other side?
Let me ask you a question. People are saying you don't make a move for Hendrickson. You have Matt come back, and Tooley is ready to take over the number one spot. How do you feel about that? Are you sure that Tooley's the number one guy going forward?
I love Tooley. We all do. Everyone on this show loves Tooley. Okay, it's not a shot. What happened in the postseason? Did he disappear? Did Tooley disappear in a lot of games this year? He did.
I think he's ready for it.
You think he's ready to be the number one guy?
Yeah, I think he's ready. Mac's still going to draw a lot of attention too, by the way, because of that name. Because he's still got some left in the tank. There's going to be games where he's going to have 3 sacks.
If Hendrickson went to a team inside the AFC West, how would he feel, Mario?
That guy got kicked in the John.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Tooley's very good. I just think Tooley disappears sometimes. In the Texans game, he had 0 stats. Dave and Tooley had the same stat line.
Yeah.
If
I didn't put pads on.
If they get Trey, give me the pass rush team. Like who has the best in the AFC West? Are they automatically the best? Because you have Trey, Tooley, and Mack.
Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely the best for sure.
Yeah.
Chiefs
would be good.
Number 2.
Pretty impressive.
It'd be really the AFC West would be stacked with pass rushers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chargers would be number 1. Next is Jose, $5. He says, at what point does Herbert tell his agent to ask the front office, what is the plan? My career is wasting away, demand a trade or sit out. I don't think that
I don't think he ever does. He ever does. He's just not that guy. I just don't think he's that guy. I think Herbert spends more time thinking what his hair is going to look like this fall than what the roster is going to look like. I don't think he cares. I think he wants to win and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have Joe Ortiz's number. That who's called who. I guarantee you Ortiz has called Justin. Justin's never called him. I don't think he has anything to do with anything. He's the most quiet quarterback in the league.
I don't think he'd ever leave.
Yeah, I don't think Justin Herbert ever leaves.
No.
AK 999 says, I have to say this. Do not be shocked if Ortiz and my coach has a plan, a blockbuster trade coming to use draft capital in 2026 or move up once, but twice. I see this coming. Yes, I'm crazy. He wants Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Since we've started this podcast, tell me if I'm wrong, we've always said this is what's coming next. Oh, next year. At what point do you not get tired of that phrase, next year? Like, we want something now. I sound like the kid in that girl in the Willy Wonka. Yeah, I want it now. But seriously, at one point do you get tired of that phrase, next year? In 2026, we're going to have more money to spend next year. How about now?
I will say with Harbaugh, though, if you look at his history, I know Niners just quickly, but if we just look at the Michigan one real quick, it was a quick Michigan turnaround. Quickly they became very relevant and competitive. But guys, it did take time for them to take that extra step. Quick turnaround, boom, we're a competitive team, Dave. But now we're not that Super Bowl contending team. And maybe that's going to take a little time. And maybe Harbaugh is going, no, from my previous experience, I know the process and it takes a little bit, and he's fine with that.
All right. Well, I'm saying if Harbaugh's looking at a 5-year plan, how many guys aren't going to be on this roster in 5 years? It's the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's not like, in 5 years, Derwin James is still going to be, prime player. How many guys? I mean, Ladd's going to, I guarantee Ladd's one of those guys probably thinking, you got to get somebody on the other side to help me out. But I don't know how many of these guys are still going to be in their prime in 5 years, which means, football's tough. I mean, putting a roster together to figure it out, you only have a 7-round draft, and basically guys are getting old, guys are getting hurt. The rosters are in and out all the time. Things turn around quick in this league. Like within 2 years span, you could be a team that's in the AFC or NFC championship game to a team that's not a playoff team anymore. It's tough, man, to do. So the quarterback position's the biggest part, and the Chargers have that. That's why, to me, there's a rush to sit there and fill that roster as quick as you can. To be in their situation, I bet if you ask the other NFL teams, you got a premier quarterback. Not everybody has that. And you have more money than everybody but the Patriots. Right now, you do have more money than everybody because the Patriots went spending like crazy yesterday, fixed their entire defense. And not spend it is bizarre. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I still can't figure it out.
Sep Nazari, $10, kind of just said what Dave said. I hate to say this, but they're going to save cap space and move it to 2026 and then compete for a Super Bowl then. Herbert should be upset now. Get the man some help. Now defense is worse with Ford gone.
Khalil Mack should be upset. I just don't guarantee I'm going to be here in 2026.
Justin Herbert turned 27 yesterday. He's going into his 6th year. To me, he's sitting right in his prime right now. We're going to waste the 2025 season to save money for 2026 because they're going to nail 6 draft picks. Name another NFL team that says we're going to nail 6 draft picks like the Chargers are expecting. That's just not a thing. I mean, I don't know. Mario?
I think there's also the fear of we just did this with a franchise QB. Like that fear is still in every Charger fan, right? Where we had Phillip and every year was like, oh, it's going to be this year. It's going to be this year. It's going to be this year. And the next thing you know, he's in Indianapolis. And you're going, what's the trophy case say from Phillip's era? And you're just like, you know what? And you know what you end up becoming, guys? And this is the reality situation of 5 years later, some Twitter guy goes, remember how good Phillip Rivers was? And they just have the craziest highlights. And people go, how did he not win a Super Bowl? How did he not win this? And you're just like, well, failures of the front office. I'm not saying that's going to happen now, but I'm saying that's the fear that every Charger fan has.
They've had it since this organization started. You know how many weapons this team has had, this franchise has had? It's insane. It's crazy.
Cam Teague, 85, $9.99. He says, one before it, Mario.
Sorry.
He says, I'm uneasy with what's going on, but until proven otherwise, I have to trust Joe and Jim. By the way, Fulton signing with the Chiefs seems like a win for us. Keep up the good work, fellas. Dude, I think that was a benefit to the Chargers that we play at the same time as the Chiefs. They can't watch Christian Fulton play. They said, oh, my God, this guy, he's a good tackler. Number 7, he must be good. We're going to sign him. And that was awesome. Well, I think, what was it, $20 million for 2 years, Mario?
Yeah. He got more money. He got more money than Najee got. Dude, if you're Justin Herbert, you're playing the Chiefs, you're doing just like in the Water Boy. Where's my bitch? I'm going, that's the guy right there I'm going after every time. Like, come on. We crazy?
Oh, that's Hall of Fame.
All right. Armando Macias, $5 says, since no signings are official, do you see the Chargers making any last-minute offers? Who would you like for the Chargers to sign by tomorrow?
Go ahead, man.
I don't want Stephon Diggs. I don't want Diggs.
I don't want Diggs at that age and coming off that injury. I know Amari Cooper had kind of a bad year at the Buffalo Bills to end it, but I would take Cooper. I would take Zeitler. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Speech impediment from the Lions. And I'll take Becton from the Eagles. The 2 guards. Those are the 2 directions I'd go. And I'm going to take Cooper just for something, You
would take Cooper Kupp?
No. No, he's talking Amari Cooper.
No.
Okay, I'm about to say, whoa.
No. I don't want any part. Amari Cooper in a Charger uniform screams torn Achilles in the first play of week 1. No offense to him.
Wait, Amari Cooper or Cooper Kupp?
Who do you want?
Oh, Cooper Kupp. You got me confused now. It's Cooper Kupp that I'm talking about.
I don't think Cooper Kupp has anything left, unfortunately. I don't think he can get open.
He's going to the Seahawks.
I agree.
That's where he's from. So.
By the way, talk about all their moves, and there you go. Sam Darnold. We're going to get you paid.
Crazy. Insane. And we got to talk about Geno at the end of this.
Yes.
Mike G, $5 says Harbaugh weigh this, Harbaugh weigh that. I'm not impressed. You know who is impressive? Ben Johnson. I
Okay,
like Ben Johnson, but
actually,
Ben Johnson hasn't proven anything yet, right?
that's what I mean. Again, I love Ben Johnson too, but the hype for him, we gotta settle it down. We're giving this guy, Dave, we're acting like he was Sean Payne a couple years ago with his free agency
Yeah.
coach stuff. Let's calm it down. The guy has
Hasn't
not
coached a
even
game yet.
coached a game yet.
Not one game.
Not one
He has as
game.
many wins and losses as the three of us.
Yeah. Like, holy hell. This guy could be an idiot maybe at the end of the day. I don't think he's going to be, but we got to calm it.
AK says 499. Josh, what I meant, my brother, is they do not care about next year's picks. They can use them to trade for a wide receiver, tight end, or edge. AK, if the Chargers have made one thing clear so far is that they covet these picks more than any team in the NFL. They're not okay with trading picks. They want all the picks they can get. If you watch basketball, AK, they're the OKC Thunder. Give me as many picks as you can. Joe Ortiz prioritizes picks. So I don't think they're trading anything.
No, you're absolutely right. He does.
Yeah, they're not trading anything, bro.
Cam Teague, 999. He says the Chargers apologists need to keep watching to keep the numbers up. But if you want all positivity instead of realistic Charger talk, go watch one of these other podcasts next so you can feel good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Again, man, when we started this thing up, if you're new to this show, you understand we're all three of us are Charger fans. We're rooting for this team, but we aren't going to say things are great. To me, you're an idiot. Anyone who just says things are great all the time when you have nothing to prove that greatness has never happened, you're a fool. That doesn't make any sense. This isn't the Patriots that have a trophy case with 6 Lombardi trophies in there. We don't even have one. Not even one. You share a stadium right now with another team that has 2 of them. And guess what? They were more active than you. And by the way, they did a ridiculous job in the draft a year ago. And they took Puna Ford, doesn't even have to move. He just has to go to a different practice facility. He doesn't even have to change residence. He didn't. Hey, I signed a deal with the Rams. Now I get to get my mail somewhere else. No, he still lives in the same house. He's good. He's good. So it's like, dude, you can't even win the battle right now with your stadium. It's very frustrating. I'm not saying there's a battle for LA and fans change teams, but good Lord, like, what are we doing? I just don't understand. And guarantee you, I don't think Dean's even a football guy, by the way. I think Dean's just a guy that has his name associated with it. He gets the big checks from DirecTV and ESPN and all the other networks. And Dean's like, man, it would be help if I wasn't a laughing stock. I'll just kind of go for that. Not the battle for LA. I don't think means anything to Dean either. I just think he doesn't want to be a laughing stock.
If the Chargers nail their first 5-round picks, right? Like awesome. Like they did last year, right? Where they have really good draft, but you end up signing a bunch of average to below average players in free agency to fill the roster. Doesn't that put you at the same exact spot you were last year? What's the difference?
Yeah. You're still picking 22nd every round.
I also think you got to have a good mix of, like, yes, you have to draft really well, but you also got to have and sign very good veteran plug and play guys. And that's, I think, the point too that we're really yelling through this that I think is getting missed is, yes, this free agency class wasn't like a Hall of Fame free agency class, but there was a lot of guys that you could get on short deals for short times that would be massive for the young players we have in our organization. And that's where the ball's really, really dropped. And instead of adding the key voices, we're just adding more younger voices and relying on leadership that we already have in the locker room to really pull them through. We'll see how it goes. And again, I believe in Joe. I believe in Jim. I think they're going to kill it. I do think a Super Bowl is on the horizon for this team. But the frustration of what happened over the past day and a half is very real, and you have to talk about it.
Yep.
All right. The big news that happened within the division, biggest news so far in the offseason is that the Raiders have their quarterback, at least for next season, Geno Smith. They bring him in. You got Raider fans talking about this is the best quarterback we've had since Derek Carr, which I'm like, is that a compliment?
Yeah, what?
To me, Geno Smith is like the 16th best quarterback in the NFL. I don't see how that move makes a big difference for the Raiders. Do you see it any other way, Mario?
So I think he's a very solid quarterback, but we also have a curve on it where he had Tyler Lockett, by the way, still a free agent, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN to throw to. Even though his O-line let everyone through and like you could have a party back there, Dave, that is a very quarterback-friendly receiver room to have. And then he's going from that to the Raiders, where here's Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers. That's all you got, dude. And then Max Crosby's on the other side of the football, but he can't play any offense. So really, it's just you and Brocky Boy trying to really create something special.
Raider fans are excited. Look, Raider fans are excited that obviously what's the best quarterback since Carr, and they've had horrible quarterbacks. So here's the deal: Geno Smith's still the worst quarterback in the division.
You're still going to lose. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, out of the 4 teams in the division, the Raiders have the worst quarterback, right? They do.
Yeah.
He's
by a
I hate
mile.
to say it. Yeah. I mean, so are you that much better? You really aren't. Raider fans are dying for anything right now. The fact that Geno Smith is the guy you hang your hat on is getting ridiculous. But okay, that's your problem right there. But last year, the Raiders, remember, free agency wise, went out day one and they got Christian Wilkinson from the Dolphins, and then he got hurt right away. And then you got Max Crosby. I mean, I don't know. Could you see the Raiders pulling off a deal for Hendrickson? I don't know. That would hurt. That would kind of sting a little bit. But the Raiders are, to me, miles away on what they do. Who knows if they can fix things in the draft? Kind of funny they got Brock Bowers with last year's pick, and then they fired their GM, even though Bowers was outstanding. The Raiders are just the Raiders until they aren't. So let's see what Tom Brady and those guys do before we're even worried. I'm not worried about the Raiders in this division right now. I'm worried about the Broncos catching up, and I'm worried about the Chiefs, how long they can sustain. But as far as that goes, by the way, it's freaking hilarious. Speaking of Raider quarterbacks, that Devontae Adams and Garoppolo are on the same team again. I mean, that makes me laugh. I mean, there's a lot of horrible things said about Garoppolo by Devontae Adams, and now they're on the same roster again. That cracks me up.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, now they're both on the Rams together.
And we'll have to throw. Hopefully, no injury. You won't have to catch
I'll
a
even
ball.
tell them in practice, don't throw me anything. I'm only taking reps at Stafford. Don't even do that. Like he's not even like, hey, you want a Gatorade, Devontae? Don't throw it at me. You're gonna miss. Don't throw it.
How about the Texans letting Laramie Tunsil go, but getting a ton of picks back? Were you surprised by that, Mario, at all?
Rattled by that. I didn't get it. I was like, okay, what move did you make? Okay. All right. I don't know. Sometimes I try to make sense of the Texans. Sometimes I love what they do, and sometimes I'm like, God, you guys are stumping me. I got no idea what's going on over there. Kind of feel the same with the Raiders, if I'm being completely honest. Like they make some moves where I'm like, oh, I guess you kind of hit the mark, but you missed at the same time.
Yeah, just spinning the wheels.
Yeah.
Also, the phrase "going nowhere fast." That's the Raiders.
If you're them, would you rather have Shador over Geno? I mean, you could still draft Shador and he just sits a year.
That'd be crazy to do that though, and basically have him sit there. I mean, you're going, okay, so we're throwing another year away. I mean, that's kind of wild. I mean,
Falcons did it.
Yeah, you're okay. You're hearing it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you wasted a year. Is my point. You just wasted a year. I mean, you're hearing crazy stuff with the Titans, right? You're hearing the Titans drafting one of those guys and signing Russell Wilson. You're hearing wild stuff out there.
Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, dude, Josh called that. You got to give Josh credit. Josh told you, man, Anthony Richardson was not the guy. He told everyone on the show, he goes, dude, when you play freaking a few college games, all of a sudden you're going in the first round. He is not the guy. He couldn't win in the SEC, let alone in the NFL. The Colts can't run further away from this guy in year 3.
I don't get that. Why you would spend so much or like take such a risk on a guy that has never really played, like barely, right? Because Trey Lance was the same situation.
Yep.
He barely played in college and in high school, but we're going to draft him high, and we see how that worked out. I don't get that at all. I think that's a complete mid-off in Indianapolis between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Young West, $2. He says, "Who's got it better than us?" Well, everybody. Laugh out loud. So
that hurts. That hurts.
It's a good one. It's a good joke.
Dave Rant, anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right for Bosa because we didn't talk about Joey.
Oh, we haven't been able to get it to it. Yeah,
we haven't had a chance. Josh said it right off the bat last week when Bosa was let go by the Chargers that we're all doing shots. Here's the deal with Joey. Joey, hate to say it, man, was not the player the Chargers thought he was getting. Now, you guys got to help me out before I go on this Bosa thing. Denzel Perriman still on the active roster, not on the active roster? You guys know?
I got to double check that.
It's an important question for old-time Charger fans. That's why I'm asking.
Mario will do research.
Yeah, just you talk.
Because one of them is the last San Diego Charger.
Oh
You see what
no,
I'm saying?
Bosa is the last San Diego Charger.
So, well, Perriman was on the team last year. He was a San Diego Charger.
He's a free
unrestricted
agent.
free agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. So there's no more San
Bosa.
Diego Chargers on this
No
roster.
more.
This is it. It's all Los Angeles Chargers. from
Unless
here
they
on
bring
out.
in Keenan Allen.
There's maybe somebody wants to tell Michael Wilbon you can stop dropping it. It sounds ridiculous on PTI. The team moved away in January 12th, 2017. You sound like an idiot, dude. I mean, god dang, man. You still call them the St. Louis Browns? You still call them the St. Louis Cardinals football team? Let's calm down. Come on, Wilbon. Let's pull it together. But here's the deal, Bosa. He's gone, man. He was a disappointment. He's not what we thought. And there are many times when he was the boy who cried wolf, where he was injured so many times, we didn't know if Bosa was really injured. And it sucks to be a player when you're that guy and you're questioning injuries and you're saying, are you playing for the paycheck or you're not playing for the paycheck? Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett, I got to play on a winner. I got to get out of here. Oh, $40 million a year? Oh, okay, I'll stay. You still aren't a better team. You're the same team, just like we talked about a second ago. Well, Bosa's gone and we don't have to deal with his BS anymore. No, so we don't have to deal with Cheryl. Okay. I'm so tired of Cheryl. And I'm tired of his mother, Cheryl, saying, going on social media and making pictures of what it would look like a Joey in a 49er uniform standing next to Nick. That's great. I can't wait to see your Christmas card. That's beautiful. Look, you completely supported the Niners organization as a family the entire time. Hardly anything for the Chargers. I follow all you guys on social media. Embarrassing that Joey goes to 49er playoff games wearing 49er gear and supporting his brother. I didn't see Nick in Houston when the Niners didn't make the playoffs wearing Charger gear. There was nothing there. The brotherly support, my ass. Give me a break. Cheryl hit the door, all right? And every other hanger-on-there family member that does this, whether it's Mahomes' family, whether it's Josh Rosen's family, all these guys right here that have to be hanger-oners, it was your kid that made it. You notice you don't see LeBron James' mom anywhere anymore, right? Said enough. God dang, embarrass the name. Time to go. You got to go. I'm the one that made it in the NBA. I'm the one that cashes these checks. I'm the one who made it in the NFL. Cheryl, enough. It's completely embarrassing. Get a grip. Joey hit the door. Goodbye. It didn't go the way he thought it was going to go. And God forbid if the Chargers stick him in the damn Ring of Honor, which is a freaking joke anyway, I will not be there that day cheering that one on, because Joey's career as a Charger to me was a complete disappointment. And he embarrassed himself in the organization of the game against Jacksonville when he spiked his helmet into Brandon Staley's foot on the sideline. See you later. There's the door. That's my rant. All right. I just bought a brand new pair of shoes. I just bought a brand new pair of Nikes, crisp white, and some jerk went right over the top of my shoes, crossing past me, completely dirted them up. What the hell? Just bought them.
What's his deal?
Expensive. It was a girl. A girl did it. You know
What's
how
her problem?
shoes are nowadays? Damn it. They were
49ers.
nice for about 45 minutes.
Dave,
Yeah.
speaking of that, I got a new pair of like white Nikes. I was dating this girl and she had like a little brother. First day I wore them. They're sick. They're Jordans. I was like, dude, let's go. Spent so much money on them. Step in the house, take my shoes off. That kid comes running in like from outside with mud and just purposely looks at me and steps on them. And dude, I sat there and I literally go, you've never been closer to death.
Yeah.
than you are right now.
It's a bad kid. It's a bad kid.
Dude, you just brought that memory out. That was top 5 hangers I've ever been.
What's worse, when they scuff the top of your shoes or they just get dirt across the top of your white shoelaces? And it's just the shoelaces part.
Oh,
like,
my.
okay, now what?
Shoelaces. Yeah.
It's worse.
Yeah.
You can't clean shoelaces. It's too hard.
I think Joey Bosa is going to go to the 49ers.
Yeah, he's going to the Niners.
They just released
He's
Leonard
100%.
Floyd.
Yeah,
Juice check.
Everything I'm hearing, it's a done deal. Yeah, it's going on the Niners. Good.
Oh, yeah. I think I just saw something about Leonard Floyd. Hold on.
He got released.
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah. He got what he wanted.
Yeah, what he wanted. God, there's another story I had for you guys, by the way, today that I thought you would enjoy. I'm really blanking on it right now. We can circle back.
That's it. Circle back.
That's all I got.
Back.
Yeah, we'll circle. I've used that, by the way. I use it all the time, and every time I type it, I think of you guys. I type it, circle back. That's just like,
everyone gets those, man. If you're in business around in December, hey, it sounds like a great idea, Mario. We'll circle back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I don't circle back.
Mid-January. Mid-January, we'll talk.
Okay.
I don't like any of the professional jargon. Makes me uncomfortable. Like, let's touch base. I'm like, I don't want to touch your base.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Or the worst is like, let's catch up soon. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you don't want to do that.
No.
You don't care to do that at all.
All right,
right.
we done.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, we'll be back on Thursday. Okay, we're aiming for Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific time.
Sure.
Thursday Pacific time.
You okay? All right, let's
Nah,
pray
I'm
for
a little
more rain
hurt.
in Southern California. Otherwise, I got a big baseball game. But we're gonna at 1 o'clock.
70-degree day in DC today, fellas.
It's
What do
not
you know
cold
about
here
that?
in Southern California. It's just raining right now. And so as long as the field's wet, then I'm here for sure on Thursday at 1 o'clock. But I appreciate you guys adjusting your schedule because I promoted it wrong last week.
Thanks for letting everybody know that Southern California is not cold today. I'll take no shit for 500.
Dude, I'm wearing a full like thick ass sweatshirt. It's cool. I went for a walk this morning at 50 degrees. Is that cold, Mario?
No.
Okay, but it's not what you think about when Southern California either, right?
Dude, 50-degree day screamed you could wear shorts to school that day, and all you boys were like, let's go. You know.
All right, we'll be back on Thursday, 1 o'clock. Thanks again to everybody that sat there and listened to us complain. I know we hurt a lot of feelings today, but I'm sorry. All right, here's the deal. Please like, subscribe to the show. If for some of you ever heard it, I don't know to tell you. I ask you all the time. Hit the bell, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. On YouTube, if you did not get the show live, you want to leave a comment on YouTube. We will get to all those as well. But we'll see you otherwise on Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Again, from Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. Thank you so much for joining us today.